Hi, everybody. What's up? Feeling Friday. This is Dennis Schiraldi. I am the founder of DOYO Live, and this is the DOYO Live Marketing Show coming to you live from Youngstown State's Williamson College of Business. As you can see over my shoulder, there are college students matriculating their way through their day and through their college life. So today on the DOYO Live Marketing Show, kind of a bittersweet week, moderately caffeinated. So glad that if you are making the opportunity to join us today, thank you very much. I wholeheartedly appreciate everybody and anybody that is jumping on. If you get an opportunity, go ahead and register some questions today into the chat or give me a thumbs up to let me know that you're here. Would love to hear from you. And eventually, if you have an interest, would love to try and figure out how we get you onto a Facebook Live. Today's Facebook Live is being brought to you by Ray Kashmiri and Associates. They are covering you for your healthcare insurance. Very important. We're coming up on the open enrollment period. We just finished the Medicare open enrollment. And here's what's interesting about it. They cover single, small, large group healthcare insurance. So check out Ray Kashmiri and Associates. Also being sponsored today by Juggerbot 3D. They are a benefactor of DOYO Live. We're going to just kind of leave that one alone for now, the depths of it, but they are in the 3D printing world and going to set manufacturing on its ear with rapid prototyping and an additive manufacturing. So glad to have both of them supporting the show today. Interesting week. I was in the midst of recording a podcast yesterday. Be glad that you're not me. Spent an hour recording 6 10-minute segments of my podcast on webinars, and even got to the point where I downloaded, uploaded, figured out the technology finally for the DOYO Live podcast, and completely did not have the microphone on. It's about 60 minutes worth of recording. So, needless to say, I got a lot of good practice. But that happened to be the day after. And if you're in Northeast Ohio, the day after is meaning the World Series. So let's jump into that for a second. I know it's kind of bittersweet. After I got over Joe Buck's man love for the Chicago Cubs, I just had a weird feeling, man, right? After the Game 5 in Chicago with the crazy song that I can't get out of my head now, you know, go Cubs go. And I keep singing that over and over again. The entire stadium did not leave Wrigley Field, and maybe they were thinking that was the last time that they were going to see the Cubs. But really just a weird feeling, man. Like the whole place was there. They're all singing in unison, and it just felt like really good karma was on their side. And then I don't know right now at this point if we're giving the tribe a hall pass because maybe they weren't supposed to be there. These weren't the guys that we all grew up with Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Dennis Martinez, Oral Hershiser, Omar Vizquel, Carlos Baerga, Roberto Alomar Jr., right? And we were with that team for several years. And as we went through with that team, we lived and died with them, and this team kind of came out of nowhere and really just a different time and a different period. But I have to tell you, like, I don't take losses very well, highly competitive nature, and maybe I should. I'm about sportspersonship, but I'm not a good loser. I can remember playing Division II college basketball, Catholics versus Christians, Walsh versus Malone, and we got beat 1994 and 1995. Took two of the worst L's of my entire career to our crosstown rivals. That's over 20 years ago. I still have not forgot about that. Now, there was a redemption to that. Two of the best games that I ever played in college basketball back-to-back years were against our rivals in the playoffs, retired careers of guys that I was friends with and competed with for 4 years in college. But I just don't get over it. Like, we woke up the next day after the World Series. It was gloom and doom out. It was wet. It was rainy. It was like, you know, it was all this sunshine in praise, 70 degrees, fall classic, and then you wake up to rain and knowing that for the next 6 months it's going to be nothing but cloudy skies, getting dark at 5 o'clock. And yeah, we got the LeBron James Cavaliers to look forward to. But at the end of the day, I hope it's not Cleveland being back to Cleveland. Having spent time in New York City, living there, and seeing how firsthand how the Yankees operate, you win every chance that you get so along the way. So enough of my rant, and I call that a mild rant, if you would. So here's what I want to talk about with you today. Obviously, it was the World Series this past week, and that conversation's on point. The same night of Game 7, I did a drive-by of the Country Music Awards as well. And this upcoming weekend, you've got the New York City Marathon, an event that I've actually run and have run multiple marathons, multiple half marathons, so it's running season. And then, obviously, unless you've been living under a rock for the past 2 years, this election thing is finally coming to a head next Tuesday. So there's a ton of trending events that are taking place in real life and on the internet. The first thing I want to get out of the way is that the reason why that you want to take advantage of trending information. So trending information in social media acts and mimics what goes on in real life. So for instance, in real life, we go down to the coffee shop, the water cooler, the gas station, and maybe I'm living in Mayberry, 1955. But we have these conversations with our friends and family around the dinner table, at the bar, in the colleges and universities as to what's going on. And social media mimics real life, meaning that we take that conversation from in person and then we start to build the engagement at scale. So go back and think to your World Series experience. Sharing on Facebook what the score of the game is, that you're all in, that you're rallying together, that you love Joe Buck, that you're distaste for Joe Buck, and you're sharing this engagement with trending information that's happening at real time in real life. And this happens all over the place. So number one, that is how, and let me back up. So there's trending information every day when you wake up of something that's going on in the world and online and giving you an opportunity to play in that. Now, whenever there's a lot of people talking about a current event, it tends to build engagement. It gives you an opportunity to have not just post stuff and not comment, not like, not share, not follow. It builds a lot of engagement because it's really relevant information. I know that seems very fundamental to most people, but there's people that are just getting started, or maybe you're at a plateau in your social media world. But trending information is a great thing to tap into. The next thing it knows, it shows that you know what's going on so that you're relevant. 60-70% of the businesses out there today will likely schedule a predetermined social media strategy between maybe Facebook and Twitter. I've not found, even though Buffer has included Instagram scheduling into their application, I've not found a good Instagram scheduling application, which is maybe why there's so much engagement on it. But with that said, social always works and wins because of the fact, too, that it's relevant and it's spontaneous. And you should be able to do spontaneous social media and post relevant information out as it's happening real time. Another reason why you want to pay attention to trending information is not only does it build engagement, it also helps to build a following. So you have a lot of people in an audience on the national scene and on the local scene that are playing in that space. And these are the opportunities that you can really tap into and take advantage of in your social media strategy. So you could grab that national audience if you've got a product that you're trying to distribute, or a business, or even as an individual and an individual brand. From a local perspective, there are different mechanisms which you can use to identify people in the local landscape that are playing in the social space, identify those individuals, and really engage them. And you don't want to do it, obviously, in a creepy way. So the next thing you move into is, who are these people? How do you build the list? Those sorts of things. By the way, I think I failed to mention when I started, so I'm coming to you live today from the Youngstown State Williamson College of Business. Really awesome, world-class facility. It was the site of DOYO Live, our Digital Marketing Interactive Design Conference Part 1 last year in August of 2016. And really awesome opportunity to be here today. I think I did mention that, by the way. I'm a complete idiot. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, getting back into it. So there are a number of third-party tools that are out there that you don't really need, quite frankly, you don't really need them when it comes to identifying trending information. They more along the lines help you to identify the people that are in the area. So you have things like BuzzFeed, BuzzSumo. Facebook posts their trending information. So when you wake up in the morning, you can see what's trending. And you may want to include that into your social media strategy. Google Trends, if you just go to Google and you type in Google Trends, you will see that there is this mechanism in Google Trends, but that's more of a long-term type of scenario. And a few weeks back, we've been doing these Facebook Lives now for about 5-6 weeks. There is an application within Google. If you just type in Google Trends, it will bring you there and tell you what's going on. Reddit, oftentimes called the front page of the web, is another really good resource. In Twitter, absolutely love Twitter for this aspect. Twitter is a great tool from the sense that you can wake up in the morning and you can just see in your Twitter feed and they announce you or tell you what items are trending. So it's really important not only just to have the topic that's trending, but you also want to do a little bit of research. You want to try and identify what the trending hashtag is. That's a very important mechanism on at least 2 social media platforms. One of those social media platforms being Twitter, the other is Instagram. Before we get into some advanced search features, especially on Twitter and a little bit on Instagram, another tool that I like to utilize that isn't necessarily for trending information, but finding the influencers, especially on Instagram, is Social Rank. It's a free tool, and it will identify people based upon however you filter it to tell you exactly who the people are in where the area is. So, for instance, you can actually sync your Instagram account, and then you could identify people by filtering the geography for the top 20, 50, 100 Instagram accounts in that geography. Typically, what's going to happen next is that when you hop over to Instagram and you start to build that following, the trending information will then also follow. So people on Instagram will start to post information and you can see who the top influencers are mixed with the top trending. That becomes important to you. That becomes important because, again, if you can follow those people, you can like, you can share, you can comment, you begin to get the following and the attribution and the affinity back to your brand on relevant trending information. So you want these influencers to be following you and engaging with your brand to grab their audience, and then vice versa. So that's an important aspect to identifying not only influencers but leveraging the trending information. So on back to Twitter. On Twitter, you can see very quickly who and what is trending on Twitter. But then when you get into a Twitter search, it's a really cool application. All you have to do is you could type in either a topic, a concept, or a hashtag into this Twitter search, and you'll get over to a page that gives you the opportunity to see the top tweets, accounts by live. But then you also have this advanced feature. The advanced feature on Twitter is super cool. So what you do is you click on the advanced. And then you have almost a Boolean search type of application where it says, do you want to search by information containing the following? All words, any words, trending hashtag. And then from that point on, you can actually then set it up to identify by localization or geography. So what's really cool about that is this, is that say like the national landscape is just not one that you play in, and you want to be identifying people in the local economy that are essentially in your target audience. And not only are they say in Youngstown, they're on Twitter and they're talking about trending information. This is a prime opportunity to be able to identify those individuals by top tweets, by live, by account. And then you can simply, from that point on, you can make a decision as how you're going to interact with those individuals. You can favorite their comments, you could reply, you could retweet. You could start to build out a list of individuals on Twitter in your local area based upon that trending hashtag. And I'll give you a prime example. So last two summers ago, going on 2 summers ago, I took my wife to see I don't know if he's R&B or pop, but Sam Smith. And it was on my birthday, which was a nice gift to her on my birthday because I'm not a huge Sam Smith guy. But what was very interesting to me, where the light bulbs really went off, is that even at that particular event, and we have these at the Covelli Center all the time. Eric Ryan and his team are doing a fantastic job of selling out, bringing great acts, show after show, into the Covelli Center. And when you look at that event that's going on, it's not even going to be trending on Twitter, on Instagram. You know that there's an event going on at the Covelli. You know that Sam Smith was playing in Cleveland. And what can happen is you can start to identify people on Twitter that are tweeting from that specific location and also using a trending or utilizing a specific hashtag. Once you see that, if you're a bar or restaurant owner and you're sitting there at 7 o'clock at night and somebody puts a picture out at a concert at Covelli with the hashtag, you should be all over that. You should be able to identify those individuals, like, share, follow, and comment on their posts, and invite them to come have a drink at your establishment after they get out of the concert. If you were selling something and your target audience was that Sam Smith audience, which was like 20,000 sold out, screaming females, 18 to like 45, you had something to sell them, you identify that trending hashtag, you build out your list, and you start to identify those people. That then starts to create your top of funnel conversations. It starts to create the awareness. You start to build the content and the bi-directional engagement, move people down. So as they create awareness and they start to interact with your brand, you're going to convert them. So ladies and gentlemen, I know that's a deep dive into trending, but it's an incredibly important aspect of social media and social media marketing, the way that you should be looking at it. So a couple announcements before we get going today. I have to run over to class. I teach social media marketing and communications courses down here at Youngstown State University. So very pumped about doing that. Been going on for about a year and a half now. And then I'm going to run out. We've got our first DOYO Live committee meeting for 2017 planning. Awesome stuff. Which leads me to tell you that we have a great contest right now going on Facebook. We are giving away a free copy of Joe Polizzi's Content Inc. Joe Polizzi was the keynote speaker at DOYO Live 1. Joe is also known as the godfather of content marketing. He holds an event in Cleveland every year that draws 4,000, that's 4,000 people from all over the world to come listen to a great week of topics and conversation. He keynoted DOYO Live in 2016, talking about his content marketing model, Content Inc. Find your passion, find something that you're knowledgeable on, and just churn out content on a consistent basis to build mass followings, then monetize it. That's as simple as it gets. But this book is an amazing read for any business, any entrepreneur that's out there. Second thing is that we have a call for speakers. You want to speak at DOYO Live, run a breakout session, maybe a workshop? If you got what it takes, we'd love to have you come in, do some professional development for marketing, sales, business, design professionals, B2B, B2C, maybe your expertise is in sales, maybe it's in marketing. Whatever that is, our call for speakers is open for DOYO Live 2017. All you have to do is go to the website, www.doyolive.com. Check that out. You're going to love it. Whether sign up to become the call for speakers. Our sponsorship packs are just getting finalized. And last but not least, do you want to be on a Facebook Live or featured on a podcast? If that's the case, make sure you inbox me. We'll make some time to get the creative going and get it together. In the meanwhile, everybody, I appreciate so much that you dropped by today. It means everything in the world to me. This is Dennis Schiraldi. I'm signing off of the DOYO Live Marketing Show. Have a great weekend.